All-Stars Racing Transformed.
Hey guys, Lord98 here, and I'm going to bring you today Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, which is for the Wii U. I actually picked this up at Walmart for $39.99. Biggest reason why I picked it up, besides the reviews being damn impressive for a $40 game, and a lot of them are comparing it to Mario Kart, and rightfully so. I mean, let's face it, it is a kart racing, first and foremost. All kart racers at some point get compared to Mario Kart. As many believe that Mario Kart is the top when it comes to kart racing. These kind of like, power-up type races. You have power-up, shoot power-ups, and those kind of things. Yeah, anyway, so I picked it up for $40 at Walmart, and mainly due to the reviews, but also because I wanted kind of like a Mario Kart fix for the Wii U, because obviously Wii U just come out. There isn't a Mario Kart for it yet. Obviously, it will be coming in the near future. This kind of brings me into the actual topic for this video, which is actually going to be about reviewers comparing, when they're doing reviews for certain games, comparing one game to another of a competing franchise, or sometimes even like within the same franchise. And what are my opinions of it? Basically, the reason I come about talking about this is on Invisible Walls, which is which is like a podcast, video podcast kind of TV show like thing on GameTrailers.com, and basically what they were discussing was the PlayStation's Battle Royale, All-Stars Battle Royale, whatever it's called, which is the kind of like the Super Mario Brothers Brawl or Super Smash Brothers for the PlayStation characters, like Drake and that Killzone dude, and all the obviously Kratos and all these Sackboy kind of characters, Fat Princess, and there's a bunch of them on there. Sony has a decent amount of characters to do a game like that. But anyways, they had a review that was kind of... A lot of people criticized the review because they kind of compared it throughout the review, kind of comparing, or at least a lot of people deemed them to be comparing the Battle Royale to Smash Brothers. And basically what they said is that it's not that they were necessarily comparing it, is that just that there's certain things that Smash Brothers does well that the PlayStation Battle Royale, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, or whatever it's called, could take certain aspects of it. Because let's face it, I mean, despite what Sony might say, and despite the gameplay being different, I mean, certainly it's different compared to Smash Brothers. Is that, let's face it, I mean, the reason this thing exists, besides, fans kind of wanting it, is basically fans wanted a Smash Brothers for PlayStation. They wanted to see Kratos go up again, maybe, Nathan Drake or Sackboy going up against Fat Princess or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, the fans wanted that, and of course Sony wants to get into that market, to have something that competes against Nintendo. Of course, with Microsoft, they don't have a ton of characters that would suit a game like that. They could go maybe a different approach with like a shooter or something like that, with Master Chief and Marcus Phoenix, and maybe even bring some of the Call of Duty guys in there, like Ghost or whatever. Because I mean, despite this being a PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, there is other third-party characters like the new Dante from Devil May Cry, and Raiden from Metal Gear Solid, was it Vengeance or something like that? Honestly, I'm not a big Metal Gear Solid fan, so excuse me if that's not correct at all. And then they also have the BioShock, the Big Daddy from BioShock. So they have some other third-party characters that kind of fill out the roster, which is nice. So I mean, Microsoft could do that, but I don't think Microsoft really has enough characters to really come up with something like that. That they actually... Like, they own Banjo-Kazooie and Conker and Jet Force Gemini and all these properties. Killer Instinct. I mean, there's a whole freaking slew of characters in Killer Instinct they could use. The problem is they haven't made a game for a lot of those franchises, especially on the 360 since acquiring Rare. So I mean, it's not fresh in fans' minds when it comes to that. But anyway, I'm kind of getting off topic there. Of course, I don't expect Microsoft to do any of that. So again, this is kind of about reviewers taking, kind of comparing it to other games. And what do I think about that? Well, here's the thing. When it comes to certain games, like, for instance, we'll try to compare. A lot of people compare Battlefield to Call of Duty. Now, in my opinion, Battlefield and Call of Duty are two completely different games. You have Call of Duty, which is the more arcade-style military shooter, and then you have Battlefield. Let's, for instance, use Battlefield 3, which is a military shooter, yes, which is why it often gets compared to Call of Duty, but it's more team focused. Where Call of Duty, you can basically run and gun, you're by yourself and do decently, as not just my videos, as other people's videos prove that you can do if you're at all decent. So yeah, like Battlefield 3, like, you can't really compare it to Call of Duty because even though they're shooters, they're military shooters specifically, the objectives in those games and the way they play are vastly different. Now, you could potentially make an argument when it comes to the Medal of Honor series, the reboot I'm talking about, specifically the new one, Warfighter, where they're definitely going more towards that Call of Duty gameplay style. And but again, it's kind of like it's not 100% like Call of Duty either. But I mean, there could be an argument there. When it comes to these mascot-like games like Sonic All-Stars Racing, obviously the competitor for this would be Mario Kart, and then Little Big Planet, which is Sony's equivalent, and the PlayStation, the Little Big Planet Racing. And of course, before that, it was Mod Nation Racers. Although there wasn't really a mascot, but it was a kart racer in the vein of Mario Kart. Now, these ones are compared pretty closely together because for the most part they're the same type of game. It's a kart racer. I'm talking about is power-ups. You have your various power-ups to do different things, whether it's the red shell or the I can't remember what they call it, but it's like a little exploding car thing in this one. You have the blue shell in Mario Kart. For this one, it's the Hornets, as you'll see in this one quite a bit. Now, I gotta say, just a little off topic here, but when it comes to this game that we're watching now, I do like the Hornets over the blue shell because even though they can be difficult to dodge, you can dodge them, where in the blue shell it's pretty much impossible if you don't have any kind of like star power or whatever equipped. Or this one, you can just dodge it with pure skill if you're decent enough at it. Anyways, going back. So I mean, when it comes to kart racers, like these type of more, I would say, cartoony kind of kart racers, there's definitely comparison. Just like there's comparison with Forza and Gran Turismo. Now, of course, you can't compare Gran Turismo with Need for Speed because, again, they're going two completely opposite directions. You're going arcade for Need for Speed. You're going simulation with Gran Turismo. But again, when it comes to Forza and Gran Turismo, obviously, you can. They're both going for that same market, which is simulator. Even though some people would consider maybe Forza even kind of leaning more towards the arcade style. But for the most part, they classify it as simulator, therefore it's fair game to compare the two. So when it comes to Smash Brothers versus All-Stars Battle Royale for the PlayStation, is while they do play differently, specifically, now I haven't played either games to a great extent, so excuse my ignorance when it comes to a lot of this stuff. I have researched a decent amount. I have played Brawl. I have Brawl, actually, but I'm not a big, huge fan of it, but I have played it enough to, like, kind of know what's going on with that game. I didn't actually get to play the beta for, the Sony game, but, again, I know enough watching other people play it and other videos and stuff, what kind of the whole gist of the game is about. Of course, first and foremost, they're basically 4-player fighting each other out. The biggest difference is that for Brawl, to win, you can win by depleting their health. You can do a ring out, and I think that's pretty much it. Those two. Of course, there's a bunch of power-ups along the way that you can, various items you can grab and stuff like that. The difference with that compared to the Sony game, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, it's quite a mouthful, by the way, is that you only, while you do have like health and stuff like that to an extent, where you're basically leveling up this power meter or something like that, where you can basically do a super move, and the only way to kill somebody in that game is with the super move. So I think what the reviewer was trying to say is not that he was trying to compare it to Super Smash Brothers, was that with without health, without the ring out, each match becomes too predictable. Whereas at the end of the day, you know who's going to be doing the super move. You know what I mean? Like, and there's really nothing you can do about it. Whereas in Smash Brothers, like, I've seen people play it, like a lot of like I like watching We Rank to Pray with it, which is, you know, they primarily play Nintendo games, but they do a lot of co-op games, and Brawl they do a lot on Sundays, and those things can be unpredictable because, like, there's times where, you know, one guy's kicking butt and he gets knocked off the edge and ends up getting back on the platform, which he rings out basically, and the other guy who maybe shouldn't have won have won. But see, that's what is good about that game, because there's always the possibility that something different can change at the end. Where with the PlayStation Battle Royale, you don't have that element of surprise. At the end of the day, it's Super who's going to win. So, you know, now I think what could have alleviated a lot of this criticism for that is that if you simply had a mode like Brawl, but have this as your main one, where you have the super moves as your main one, and also have a mode for the Brawl like health system, ring out, those kind of things. I think that would have been cool. To basically sum this all together when it comes to reviews, should I think that reviewers should compare it to other games? I think if it's in the same type of gameplay, the same markets, gearing towards the same market, yes, I think there should be some comparison. Of course, I want games to be somewhat different, obviously, but there should definitely be some comparison. So someone who owns, like, say, for instance, Black Ops 2, to compare it to, like, Black Ops 1, what has changed, what hasn't, those kind of things, I think that should definitely be. Anyways, that's basically, if you have any more comments or whatever, please put them below. Until next time, this is LeBron98 saying, see you guys, bye.